Welcome back. Okay, so we finally got some data coming back from the back end, and it's this big string, it's this big JSON payload. So let's build a decoder to decode this and use that to actually populate our screen. So going back to our project, what do we want to do first? I think the first thing I want to do is, I know that I'm going to need to have types for that profile main. So let's just search, main model, gotcha. We do already have the types for the profile main. It's called main model. Ha! Excellent. Okay. Although I think when I did this, I didn't actually specify the type. So I'm going to say default profile main is actually main model. Excellent. Okay, so next up, let's go down to where we get our data, where we do our first request. And at the moment, I'm looking at this line right here. We do an HTTP GET, and we're just expecting, we're using the expect string, which is the simplest version to do. Actually, we're really expecting JSON payload. So as soon as we do this, we actually have to pass in a JSON decoder. So let's create that. Let's go, let's call it main decoder. And what is a main decoder? A main decoder is a decoder, and it's a decoder of, what do we call that thing? Main model. Yes, so it's a decoder that's going to try to decode JSON and give us back a main model. Okay, that works for me. I need to put that here. Okay, so far so good. Now next up, I think is probably, I need to actually say what the main decoder is. Main decoder equals. Okay, and maybe I'll just grab some samples. So I'll go back to here to the Elm programming. At the very bottom of kind of the JSON2 section, I'll just say that, is a good example of what we want to do. So there's lots of examples of different kinds of JSON decoding, but we want to do something a lot like this. So let me grab this little bit. So same idea though. It's like, this is a decoder that actually decodes a post. We're going to write a decoder that decodes a main model. So switch back to our code, and I'll just paste this in. And it's not quite the same as this. Okay. In fact, one thing I want to do is I want to go up here to our main model. I might as well get these. Just copy these down here. Because these are the fields that we want. We're expecting them in this order. Byline, it's a string. Image URL, that's a string. Title, that's a string. Title, that's a string. Username, that's a string. Hey, come on, copy paste. And finally, username logo. Now, interestingly, this last one, the actual JSON field is username -logo. So that's an example of us having slightly different names in JSON and in our data structure that holds it. Okay, next up, got to do some imports, I think. Can't find this. Okay, can you give me a hint? I was hoping that maybe, there we go. Expose function, move function, nope. I think what I need to do is just import it. So let's go to the top. Actually let's go to the bottom. We're going to go to the top or the bottom. What am I talking about? This example here, these are the imports that I need. So let me just grab those, go back to our code. Actually, I could be more, I could be more picky and do them one at a time, but I'm lazy. Module not found. Excellent. Okay, I believe I need to install a couple of packages. And let's try this. Elm import, is it JSON? I think it is. I think it's elm/JSON. Elm what? Elm install. Pretty sure that's the first one we need. Say yes, please do. Excellent. And then going back to our code, so that should clear that one up. Now this one, pipeline, actually that is a module that comes from no red ink, so let's look for that. Well, this probably tells us, but I'll just do a quick search here. Elm packages and JSON. Lots of JSON stuff here. No red ink, the Elm JSON Decoder pipeline. That looks great. Let's copy that. On our copy Visual Studio Code again, let's import that. So that would be, hey, come on, Elm install, paste. Yes, please bring that in for me. Okay. Now I'm going to close and open this page again because I think the compiler is just needs to refresh. Don't need that. Let's open this page again. Yes, much nicer. Now I go down here. Excellent. Okay, so it's not decoding post, it's decoding main model. I think we're really close. I think we're really close now. Required. Okay. It's saying that required is defined in HTML attributes and this guy here. And it's this one that's actually the one we want. I recommend using qualified names for imported values, or also recommending having one per file, yada yada. Okay, well, we'll just do what it says and be very specific. We are doing this. Okay, looking not bad. So let's look at the error. Decoder string. Why would it expect decoder string? I'm looking at this. Expect it to be string, not main model. This should be obvious. What is it? This command message. Expect JSON. Main received, HTTP error or string. That's what it is. So I need to look at main received. Okay. Main received, basically we're going to get a result back. And it's got to be one of two things. It's got to be an error or it's got to be a string. That's not it. So originally it was a string. Now it is a portfolio. Is it main portfolio? Main model. That's what we called it, main model. Right. So now going back here. Excellent. Okay. I feel like we're really close now. This is kind of exactly where I thought we'd end up. So our decoding and everything's looking good, and we finally get here. main received. Now let me just hover over this because that's useful. Oh, we're going to get the HTTP error or main model. So this is actually main model. So let's call it that. Let's call it main model. And what we're going to do is this. So we don't need to do this let anymore. Instead, here's what we're going to do. Let me just back out of this change and then we'll make another change. Model. Okay, model, and we're going to make a change to model. Model dot main equals just main model. And actually that's just that. Ooh, love it. Okay, I was a little confused by the error messaging here, but it makes sense now. So yes, we finally get back our main model. So in the case of a success, we get back main model, and we update our model, and we just set the main section to main model. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's do a build on it. There's the build. Okay, and now we're going to go back to Chrome and we're going to refresh. So here's what I think should happen based on what we've done. Remember that we start with an initial model which is empty. So it'll go out and it'll fetch that main section, and if it decodes correctly, it'll actually replace the main section. So I'm expecting we'll have like the main part of my profile, but not the nav. But the nav buttons and the stuff below, those will probably disappear, or they should. Let's hit the refresh. Wait for a second. Ooh, as predicted, no nav buttons and no portfolios yet. But we did fetch the data, and we've got our just for fun portfolio here. In fact, now we can start removing some stuff, like the default main portfolio. I don't think do we ever use that? Well, you know what? Actually, I'll clean it up in a bit. I don't think we're using populated model anymore. No, we're not. So there's actually quite a bit I can get rid of now. Might as well get rid of it. Now's the time to clean up. Boom. So our code, interestingly, if you start looking at our code, it's getting smaller because we've gotten rid of that hard-coded stuff. Now we're just getting data from the back end. Let's do a couple other things while I'm in here. I think you know what? No, I'm good with all this. We can just leave it the way it is for now. Do some cleanup later. I'm not quite skilled at reading the error messages closely. Okay, good enough. Let's just confirm that I didn't break anything, and then we'll go on to the next section. So one more time. Let's build this. Let's go back to our web page, do a quick refresh. Nice. So it quickly does a loading. We get that data back. It decodes it, shows us our web page. Awesome. So in the next step, we're going to do that decoder thing, except the next time we're going to do a decoder that actually does the nav buttons and the portfolios. So hope to see you then. Thank you.